Hello, everyone, and welcome to the World Class Mentors. This is a radio show and podcast. It's a celebration of people who have truly achieved world class status through sharing their stories and honoring their mentors. We've got a great guest for you today, Mr. Frank Salmon. And Frank, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
And this is a perfect example of people meeting on LinkedIn with some incredible stories. And it's funny, but once in a while I do go to LinkedIn and look for just that extra special person. And Frank, I know that you're everyday. You're kind of like Superman. You have this everyday Clark Kent job, and then you go out and you fly around the country, right?
Yeah, I'm kind of like a historical superhero
I
in a
love it.
way, you know. Yeah.
So let me
Yeah,
give the
I'm just
back.
the average insurance guy. I work for Allstate in Houston, Houston, Texas. If anyone out there is in Texas and looking for any kind of good rates on auto, home, life insurance, business, they can give me an email. Send me an email.
You got it.
Yeah,
Frank,
my
you've been
my
an
customers.
amateur. It's all
Yes,
right.
ma'am.
You've been an amateur archaeologist, a professional
Correct.
miner, a
Yes,
historian,
yes.
a diver, and a
Yeah,
dowser. Oh my goodness, for 30 years.
yeah, yeah. I've been digging in the ground for gold gems and history for 42 years since I was 10 years old. And this is something I've always done. I was trained by some guys back in the day, back in the late 80s and early 90s, Mr. Lewis Matasha. You know Jeanette Matasha? You did an interview with her?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, she said to say hello. And her dad's been my teacher, and for about 28 years, give or take. Yeah, I've worked with Mr. Lewis Matasha,
Excellent. Excellent.
and I was
Wonderful,
just really
wonderful man.
lucky to learn from that man. And he retired now. He's still alive. But yeah, he was a big influence on me in the early days. Um, yeah, yeah.
I like
I could
so
say
so
I've
let me
I've done it all in adventure that anyone could ever accomplish. I've had a lot of fun doing it.
well, let me walk the audience through some of what you've done. You have walked the
Uh,
way of the conquistadores, the
sure.
49ers, the
Oh yeah.
Pirates, and the Outlaws. Now, I'm
Yep.
not talking about baseball teams or football teams here. We're talking about the real ancients, right?
The real ancients. Mankind and science will tell you that man has been on Earth for a quarter million plus years. We've been here millions of years. There are artifacts that have been dated. There's some knowledge I'd like to share, and some of my own personal work that may shed light on the history of the Southwest and put out some history there that a lot of people are really not aware of and could rewrite history. And when you can actually rewrite some history and prove it, that's awesome to me. But to hold it and smell it, it's always been fascination for myself.
Well, I can only imagine. I mean, what you must be able to find. It isn't just the gems and the gold. It's the walking in their steps, right?
Yeah, yeah. I was very young out of the Navy. Served my country. I was a Navy cook. Went to University of Texas, El Paso, and my father ran military base there. And I met an old timer, like the story goes, and he showed me an area in certain mountain range north in New Mexico, central New Mexico, that holds a great secret. It actually is tied into other areas, and we have knowledge now of someone bringing ancient knowledge to light that they've kept in their family for, since the 1300s. Without giving any names, basically, this ties in to the Phoenicians and the Templar Knights being in New Mexico in the 1300s. Of course, the Phoenicians were there about 3,000 years ago, and they were in New Mexico. Recently, within the last couple of years, a series of stone pillars have been found in northern New Mexico. Mr. Louis Cerna, that's ahead of that project, I'm working with right now to understand. And in a number of mountain ranges in New Mexico, central New Mexico, you have ancient carvings that have been left behind from the Phoenicians, the Templar Knights, and all kind of stuff. Blow your mind. Ancient Hebrew, ancient Egyptians. There were cultures and races that were in this country thousands and thousands of years ago, and Columbus never even found America, not really. But otherwise, the Spaniards explored it to their potential, and, a lot was left behind, during the period of time up to 1680, which was the Pueblo Indian Revolt. At that time, they killed most of the Spanish and destroyed the records and all that. So we don't have a lot of real knowledge today left behind from that era that tells us what really happened. Okay.
So Frank, let me ask you, as a total novice and by no means any kind of an even amateur level, when you find digs like this and sites like this, I mean, is it a common language that tells you who did it, or how do you place it back to the different civilizations?
I like to deal in facts, and so I want to research it and understand the signs and symbols. If it's an area that we're mining, I go in and test the soil. I have large claims, BLM claims in New Mexico that I can commercially mine. And what we would do with those is come in with a drill rig and drill every 15 feet and back it up with the hard data from electromagnetic imaging, which is the latest technology in 3D underground imaging, to where you can see underground. But see voids, ferrous, non-ferrous metals. Part of my work and exploration is being able to use a host of technologies that enable me to determine where that history is. Is there a void? Is there a cavern there? Is there a treasure trove? They're historical objects for archaeological site, and they want to map it. And so you can go anywhere in the world and see underground for about 100 feet deep. And real-time color, 3D imagery.
What's really funny is, and you're going to laugh at me, but my grandfather was a doctor in Chihuahua, Mexico. And that's my mom's dad. And he used to do spelunking. I mean, he loved taking off on weekends and going into the caves of the Sierra Madre.
I love going in the caves.
I can see it.
A lot of fun.
But let me tell you, as a doctor, and this is a story that I remember when I was a child. He said he walked into a cave one time, and he found like a family of skeletons. But he said that the bone, and I'm not medical in any way, but the bone on your calf, what is it, the femur? Is that the femur? He said that the ones he found were like 3 feet long, which means these people were close to 7 feet tall.
No way.
I don't know if you've ever heard of that at the
the giants are a great cover-up and conspiracy. In Ecuador, I have a dear friend, Stan Grist, that he's a very well-known explorer, adventurer. He's got an area there where you got giant heads just sticking right out of the ground, and they're all over. I have plans to go there. I want to mine emeralds with them and stuff, and gold. There's adventure all around us. You just have to seek it out,
Oh my God. Okay, so this is really interesting. Tell me
what I'm doing right now. I'm formulating. I'm finishing a business plan for Trove Research Inc., which is my company, and exploration, mining, commercial mining, jewelry manufacturing, and a series of art and jewelry galleries I'd like to spread out through New Mexico.
That's excellent. That's Trove, Trove, research.
I mine my own Trove, Trove. I mine my own gems, my own gold. I import gems from all over the world and design, manufacture my own jewelry. I have my own line of dowsing products, pendulums and dowsing rods, and a whole host of gemstones set in the most beautiful jewelry, earrings, rings, everything.
Sounds
Actually, I
wonderful.
have price lists, and I sell in 2 stores in Houston already. One is the Magic Cauldron in Montrose. They
Uh-huh.
sell my pendulums and dowsing rods and all kind of stuff there, and another store that I'm working with. I just end up selling all wholesale to them, you know, still make a profit. But people ask me to come out and teach them about dowsing and different things, and have pendulums for sale then, you know, and
How
I sell
fabulous.
them at
Can you
retail.
tell
And
me a little can you tell me a little bit about dowsing? I mean, I've
sure.
seen them in movies. I have
Well,
really
this
no
is
idea.
the way Mr. Matasha explained it to me years ago. He said, you got to look at it this way. Everything is connected in this earth, in this world, everything around us, everything we see, touch, and feel, it's all connected in some way. When you die, what do they say? Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. So the brain being the most powerful computer on earth, if you can learn to develop a positive mental attitude and learn to focus on what you're looking for, I mean, really focus on it. By using certain instruments and things, you can be led to these things. If you're looking for minerals, your car keys, you lost them, you know, what color clothes you should wear for that day, what's wrong with your body. You can go right down your manual of your the manual for your car and find out what's wrong with your car. You know, there's so many uses to it. I use it for mineral exploration and finding historical artifacts and minerals.
That's fabulous. I absolutely love that.
Yeah,
So you've
yeah,
really
yeah.
seen a
You
lot.
got, uh-huh.
Can you tell? I'm sorry. Can you tell me? In this show, we celebrate you and your life, which we're definitely doing, and enjoying everything
Yes,
you've got. What a rich past and future you've got coming into it. Who were your
yes, ma'am.
mentors, Frank? When we get down
Louis,
to the facts of
Louis
football.
Matasha.
Hmm.
Louis Matasha was probably my biggest mentor. Larry Williams. He was noted for searching for Noah's Ark and Mount Ararat in Turkey and different things that he did. He was an amazing adventurer. Dave McCracken was a big influence on me. He's in Northern California. Great guy. Those guys are held up with regulations and things, and they won't let them dredge and mine. Like, you know, it's in our Constitution to give us rights and things to do things, and they're having a tough time right there. But yeah, I had a lot of mentors that taught me so much. I was so fortunate to have learned from them. For Louis Matasha, he wrote the book on modern day dowsing, and great guy, great
Wow, it sounds
adventurer.
exciting.
So many stories about this man. A miner. He was a land surveyor for the government for many, many years, and became probably the most famous dowser in the 20th century. And I was
Wow,
fortunate to learn from that man for about 28 years. His
that's
daughter,
excellent. What a
Jeanette
gift.
Matasha,
Yeah.
you know, Jeanette is awesome. She's psychic and dowser and everything. I work with Jeanette and on stuff and projects to this day, and some top professionals. I'm actually working with some top archaeologists to actually go to New Mexico, document all the signs and symbols that were supposedly left by the Templar Knights and the Phoenicians. And if we can prove this, uh, New Mexico has a great chance of being the actual location of the land of Ophir.
Okay, that's Ophir.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Ophir is the place in the Bible that King Solomon and with the Phoenicians and their men um, went to get the gold, basically, that they brought back to King Solomon to build his temple. Okay? King Solomon's mines. Yes, I know it sounds crazy, but they, every 3 years, they brought back tons and tons of gold, and Solomon was estimated to be worth something like $6 trillion. So the Templar Knights found out about this knowledge. They were refitting a castle in Tyre, which is north of the Holy Land. Underneath the castle and finding a series of catacombs, they came into possession of the navigation charts the Phoenicians used to travel the seas. Okay?
Oh my goodness.
So they took this knowledge and went to Ophir. Basically, from what they're saying, the knowledge kept in the documents was the location, bearing, and everything to get back and forth to Ophir, which took 3 years. Now, it says in the Bible also that they had ivory apes and everything that they brought to King Solomon as well. But in every documentary that you will ever watch, remember In Search of, Leonard Nimoy, all those shows, each one of them says that Ophir or Solomon's mines could be in the United States.
Wow.
And people just don't know or realize this yet. We're trying to prove it. I'm working with 2 top-notch archaeologists, well-known in their field and expertise, and I want to go back, and it's tied into my own work in mountains where I'm working, which I can't mention.
Frank, let me ask you something.
I can't go into detail.
The whole conquistador route was looking for a place called El Dorado, right, which is the golden one.
Yes.
And so, are you saying that this is where they should have been looking versus, on top of Mexico City?
Well, where I'm talking about is the place the Indians were telling them and talking to them about the 7 cities of gold, or El Dorado, which the Indians told them, yes, it's way north of here. But it's not 7 cities of gold. It's 7 caverns filled with finished gold. And it's in New Mexico. I'm one of the only people that has this knowledge of this history, which I've been involved in for one particular project that I came into knowledge with at a young age for 29 years. So that's very interesting. That's sticking to something. And, it's if you believe in something strong enough and know it to be true and a fact, don't let anyone ever tell you differently.
That's really interesting.
I never gave up on it, and so I'm going to be able to go back, hopefully with my own exploration company. It takes a lot to finance a company. I am seeking a private investor in regard to that, and I have data, a business plan. I've been very, very blessed with opportunities in life.
Well, that sounds great. Listen, I really hope you're keeping
money.
Hey, Frank, I really hope you're keeping a journal because, as a producer, this is a great TV.
Yeah, I'm writing a book about this, and if we can prove the signs and symbols, the cache sites, and the knowledge and the history that we're being shown, if we can prove it, we want to write a book about this. I'm already writing a book about my own adventures and everything, too. A lot of my peers have written a number of books, and they're out there doing it, and I've had a number of stories published in projects before, but never actually written a book myself. It's what I want to do. I'm actually in process of starting studies for a bachelor's in archaeology. And I've been in mining and placer mining as a consultant for many, many years. And, hopefully I'll be able to pursue my own exploration company. I've never actually gotten to achieve my goals that I really, and how I really want to do it, but I never give up trying to get there,
Love it. What dedication. Yeah. I mean, that's really interesting. Now, let me ask you this. I mean, we've got a couple of minutes left here, but if people want to get a hold of you, how do they do this? Do you have a website?
Yeah, you can go on Google and type in mining and historical consulting, Frank Salmon. It'll come up. The best way is just to email me, insuranceguyfrank@gmail.com, and I'll get that. And I can communicate with anybody there. If somebody wants to call me, they can call me at 832-902-8106.
Sounds exciting, Frank. You've got so much. My last question to you is this. Now that you've been a person who has had mentors, who has
Yeah,
leveraged all your learning from people who have spent their lives doing it as well, what is
right.
your pay it forward plan, and what legacy would you like to leave?
Well, I took their knowledge and enhanced it by 100-fold. And I want to actually make a career out of it, and to the intent that we originally had come up with, to be able to, if you can make money at something that you enjoy doing in life, that's a blessing, and that's always been my goal, to work for myself. But in the field of commercial mining, historical discoveries, if you're not directly involved with the university, you have to get your own grants and funding, and that's what I'm working on doing right now to finance my own company. So it's a process, and I'll get there. Definitely, it's a lot of work, so.
I understand totally. Now, do you
Yes,
have any
ma'am.
children? Are you planning to get family involved in that as
No,
well?
no,
Okay.
no. Yes, yeah, no, not the family life. I have a beautiful girlfriend that's adventurer in her own right, so that's great. I got my own Laura Croft.
Oh, there you go, Tomb Raider.
Yeah, yeah, and so it's cool. But yeah, I travel on adventures in Texas here. Working with some of the most state-of-the-art advanced technology on Earth, combined with infrared thermal imaging cameras and systems. And, years ago, me and Louis Metacia invented a way using a Polaroid camera that you could find the halo effect or aura left over from lost treasures and mineral deposits and things like that.
Oh, that sounds
You know,
interesting.
we
Well,
started
along
getting
those
ghosts
lines,
and spirits in the pictures.
well,
It
let
was
me ask you
crazy.
now that you're touching on that. I mean, yeah, I mean, along with all of these ancients comes, of course, all of the superstition, supernatural, the paranormal kind
Sure,
of things. Have you done
sure.
anything in that line?
For about 27 years.
So you do believe in ghosts?
Yeah, I do. But you see,
You
I
do.
delved into it more than most can imagine. And I had to prove it to myself, which I did a number of years ago. I don't involve myself in it, directly, but I consult with others that do, and for
Right.
information and knowledge, what I can share and help them. But I've done it. I've been slapped, pushed downstairs, hit, very susceptible to spirits and things like that. And there's a whole other side, and I've sat with hours of recordings, listening to these spirits telling you their stories and stuff. It's pretty far out. I
Now, see,
believe in spirits, and
we've got
so
to
yeah.
do a show. We have got to script out a show for you. I tell you, I see, I
Yeah, I
see
want to do an
great.
update show, because
There
my
you go.
next avenue is formulating my company and getting that in line with my projects. And I would probably end up relocating to New Mexico and Las Cruces, but also would have a home in Houston, where I live. I got family here and stuff too.
Right.
So
Love it.
yeah,
Absolutely love it. Listen, Frank, I absolutely love the conversation. I love what you're doing. Kudos to you. Keep going. Follow your dream.
yeah. I'm just
Cat
I'm just
Stevens says
trying
we
doing
may be here tomorrow,
doing the
but
best
our
you
dreams may
can.
not. I
Yes,
want to thank
ma'am.
you so much. By the way, everyone, we are the World Class Mentors, and if you'd like to become a guest in the World Class Mentors, we're looking for people who want to share their story, honor their mentors, and pay it forward, just like Frank Salmon's doing right now. Share what you are leaving as your legacy with us. Go to theworldclassmentors.com and apply to be a speaker. We welcome all of you. And also, you can nominate people. For example, Frank, you had a couple of mentors there. We absolutely would love to have them on the show. Please let them know. The World Class Mentors is also sponsored by KDDM INC. It's a world class digital marketing agency and image maker for speakers, authors, coaches, and healers. And if you'd like to become a sponsor of the World Class Mentors, please go to theworldclassmentors.com, and our producers will be in contact with you as soon as you fill out that form. Frank, I can't tell you how much I appreciate your time and your wonderful story. I look forward to hearing more about your discoveries. And
we'd need hours of talking.
Thank you all so much.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.